$672 million. That is why, like I said, I would have liked to have seen a must here, because there should have been a legislative requirement. Thank you very much, Mr Chair.
I call the honourable member Chris Farfui.
Mr Chair, Talohani, Mr Chair. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to Part 2 of the Courts and Criminal Matters Bill, and I really hope that this part of the bill will change, as my colleague Stuart Nash mentioned in his contribution, the attitudes of drivers, because there are far too many drivers who are racking up all these fines, and I think it was $672 million I heard just a few minutes ago that is outstanding, who simply do not care or will not care about some of the fines that they are racking up. And I mentioned in my earlier contribution around the level of fines at which young drivers start to get themselves into a spot of bother with being able to pay some of their fines. But with $672 million outstanding for fines, I hope that this does change some of the attitudes of those drivers who do have a significant amount of fines racked up in their name and under their licences, and who do not care at all about whether or not that gets paid off. And I just want to talk about an experience that I had in my own electorate, spending a night with the traffic police about a month ago, and we pulled a young driver over on the main road, and I won't do anything to identify him at all, but when he got pulled over, he was... Pardon? It wasn't on a motorbike, so it wasn't our chief. It was a young driver, but he only just passed the breath alcohol test, but it was found out after some investigation into the computer system that he did have a significant amount of fines under his name. He also his licence was suspended, which is also another issue, which might not necessarily, he would have been pinged for something else, not necessarily under this bill. But his attitude to the fines was, I can't afford them, they're too much, I'm going to keep driving, I was just going to keep driving till I was going to get caught anyway. And he did that night. But it's, I guess, that kind of driver, that kind of person is someone that this part of the bill will address, because it's those attitudes that we need to make sure that if people do have a significant amount of fines racked up under their name, that there is a process in which they'll be, I guess, frightened into making sure that those fines are paid. As Stuart Nash said in his speech, there is a process, a robust process, about how some of these driver licence stop orders are imposed on drivers who do own have significant amount of money outstanding with the courts. And I guess what this does is it sends a message to those drivers that unless you do make an arrangement to pay some of these fines off, that you will be taken off the streets. And if you don't take any action for yourself to pay some of these fines, that the courts will take action against you. So as Stuart Nash said, there is a period where a warning is issued, and you've got 14 days to sort yourself out. And if you don't make an arrangement to pay the fine, or you don't pay the fine at all, or you don't take any action at all, then these stop orders are imposed on you. And then after that, if you don't act, you are suspended, and you will stay suspended until you do take some action. And it's my understanding that the licence is taken off you, and unless you make some kind of arrangement to pay or pay off the fine, you stay suspended altogether, and you won't get it back until, as I said, you make that payment. There is the ability in this bill also for cars to be impounded for 28 days. I think that's a positive move. These people who are flouting the law absolutely with no regard for the fact that they do owe money should have some serious action taken against them. As I said, it's an attitudinal change thing that we're trying to address here with those drivers who do not care that they may have a number of outstanding fines against them. And I guess along with the fines goes some behaviour. These people obviously don't care about the fact that they do own a significant amount of money, but they I think, on the most part, were probably some of the ones who are acting dangerously out on the roads, because obviously they've racked up a significant amount of trouble through the fines that they owe. So I guess, along with the streamlining of the process in Part 1, that this Part 2 takes some action to change some of the attitudes towards those drivers who have racked up these fines and who do not care and flout the rules. or flout the authority of the courts to be able to take some action against them in the fines. And I think that this is a positive move. As I say, $672 million is a large amount of money outstanding. This is another move, and we support this move to try and make sure that we can get some of those fines back into the coffers.
I call the honourable